tova. I am somewhat mostly awake right now, and hope that you all are somewhat mostly awake right now too. For this Elul reflection, I think this is my last Elul reflection before Rosh HaShanah. So I thought we would share one of my favorite Elul songs, psalms for this season, and also one of my favorite texts. So I'm not quite awake, so I thought we would start with the song, with the hope that this is something to wake us up. So this is a traditional psalm that's added to the liturgy, the daily liturgy, traditionally. Back when I was in a shul that had a daily minyan, this was always one of the distinct parts about being in the month of Elul, was that you would add this psalm in. So anyways, this is sort of the line, the quintessential line from the psalm, Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. This is the one thing that I ask of the eternal, the one thing that I ask of this world, that I may dwell in the house of goodness and holiness for all the days of my life. Achat she'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Achat she'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Shivti bevet Adonai kol yamei chayai. L'chazor b'noam Adonai uvaker b'chalo. L'chazor b'noam Adonai uvaker b'chalo. Achat she'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Achat she'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Shivti bevet Adonai kol yamei chayai. L'chazor b'noam Adonai uvaker b'chalo. L'chazor b'noam Adonai uvaker b'chalo. Achat she'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. So that's just one of those that kind of sounds like the High Holy Days to me. So a song and a text today. So another one of my favorite texts for this season. Did I mention I've only had one cup of coffee so far today? Yeah. Anyhow, so this comes from Breshit Rabbah, which Breshit Rabbah is a collection of midrash. I have a good friend, Bill Dole, Pastor Bill Dole, who described midrash as ancient rabbinic fan fiction of the Bible, which I think is probably a pretty fair description of it, actually. So we're looking at something that's a few thousand, over 1,000 years old, certainly. So here's what it says. Rabbi Azariah commenced in Rabbi Aha's name, saying, "You have loved righteousness and hated wickedness." Okay, this is the verse from the Psalms that they're going to pick up. Midrash is often kind of a game where someone will throw out a line from somewhere else and you'll try to come up with the best teaching around it. So that's sort of what we're getting here. Rabbi Azariah in Rabbi Aha's name, one of the great names, referred this verse to our father Abraham. That's one of the traditional ways of describing Abraham, Avraham Avinu, our ancestor Abraham, literally our father Abraham. So Rabbi Azariah said in this teaching in Rabbi Acha's name that this is about Abraham. And he describes it as when Abraham, our father, stood to plead for mercy for the Sodomites. Now, a moment about this, right? Because we're about to get an image of Abraham during Rosh HaShanah. This is actually what I'm going to talk about on Rosh Hashanah day. But we're about to get this image of the Akedah, of the binding of Isaac, where Abraham comes close to killing his child. What I would call sort of the great moral failure of Abraham in the Torah. And what we have here, though, Sodom and Gomorrah, is the great moral success story of Abraham. This is when he stands up and says no to the highest authority figure in the land, right, his God, and says, no, you cannot kill these people. It is not right to kill the innocent along with the guilty. So anyways, Rabbi Aha, or Rabbi Azariah in Rabbi Aha's name, is saying that you've loved righteousness and you hated wickedness. Other way. Right, the psalm at the top. This is about Abraham and when he pled for mercy with the Sodomites. For what is it written? Far be it that you should do such a thing. This is what Abraham explains or says. And Rabbi Aha explained it as meaning this. You, God, who swore not to bring a deluge upon the world, you are evading your own oath. What, so you won't bring a deluge of water, but instead one of fire? If this is the case, then you have not been true to your oath. Right, this is a great line. This is putting a lot of chutzpah in Abraham's mouth right here, right? Saying, okay, yeah, like you said you want to destroy it this way, but come on. I think it's an indictment of the world and the world that Rabbi Acha lived in and Rabbi Azariah lived in also, right? And easy enough for us to look at our world today and make this accusation as well. So Rabbi Levi picks this up and continues. Shall not the judge of the whole earth deal justly? Another brutal indictment of our world and of a divine, right? If you desire the world to endure, there can be no absolute justice. While if you desire absolute justice, the world cannot endure. This is one of those lines, and we're going to get actually my favorite line in just a moment. There's one more line that we'll put up in a second. This is one of those profound ideas, I think, of Judaism, that absolute justice is incredibly important. Our stories about how we are right and our explanations of that are true. But the other person at the other end of whatever quarrel, whether we are talking geopolitical or we are talking like the most intensely interpersonal, always has a version of their story where they're the hero too, right? Where justice isn't being served for them. And so there is this idea that if there is to be the world, there cannot be absolute justice. So let's see the concluding line. This is my favorite. Sometimes these buttons work better than others. There we go. Maybe not. Okay, the last line. Yep. Gave up on it too fast. The last line. Yet you, right, this is you, God they're talking to, would hold the cord by both ends, desiring both the world and absolute justice. And here's the line I love. Unless you forget a little, the world cannot endure. So that's what I'm working on this High Holy Day season, working on forgetting a little. Right, we have to do the work of tshuva. We have to do the work of really honestly looking at our impact and trying to close the gap between what we wish it was and what it actually is. But it also requires a little forgetting. It requires a little forgetting of the ways that maybe our absolute justice hasn't been served so that justice can be found somewhere in the middle too. So Shana Tova, everyone. A happy, healthy for us, for the whole world, and sweet New Year. Take care, and we'll see you Rosh HaShanah, Friday night. For those who don't know, CRC is always available and open for High Holy Days. Since the very beginning, we have been free and around for people. But of course, that is going to be just as true today. So here you go. I'll put up the whole schedule, and I think it's going to play the Nigun with it. So there you go.